Hey guys, it is Mike with Become the Night. Welcome back to another Become the Night Snobcast. I am joined today by the illustrious founder. Were you a founder of Hybridice as well?
No.
No, well, original member of Hybridice.
I'm not even an original member.
A dude who played in Hybridice.
Yeah, because they started in high school. They were like kids, and I joined when we were adults.
Oh, gotcha. Well, he is the founder of Cell15.
That is true.
Owner of After 7 Studios, Robert Richardson. Robert, or Bob. You want me to call you Bob?
Whatever floats your boat.
I always love calling you Bob.
Okay, Bob's fine.
He is also one of my mentors, very influential. And as he says, he set me down here.
Yes, I did.
And he has created a monster, as you have all can see. But either way, how you doing, brother? How you been?
I'm great, buddy. Good to see you. What you drinking today?
Oh, you know, just like a usual alcoholic, drinking Jim Beam at 2 p.m.
That's a little Jim Beam there.
Oh yeah,
just straight up on the rocks.
On the rocks, yes, sir.
Cool.
Do you know how much
you get trashed today? That'll be fun.
Well, you haven't seen it before, so you know what? It's gonna be a new step in our relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I've never seen you totally trashed.
I think there was
Probably
one
a good
time.
thing.
Yeah, probably. I think there was one time you did see me a little drunk, and that's when I went to see one of your shows. Like, that's back when it was just you taking Cell15 around.
Yeah.
I forget what it was, but that was cool, by the way, man. Freaking A.
Yeah, my little solo show. That was different.
I mean, hey, you're getting it out there. People are listening to it.
Yeah, they are. It's doing well.
And now you got the full band behind you.
Yeah, I actually have some really good players. It took a while to find them. But as soon as I started getting gigs, it was a lot easier to find members for your band once you have gigs. And the gigs I've got are, well, we did Progstock last year in New Jersey, brand new festival, but it's theater stuff. You know, it's not the playing the crab hole nightclubs. And
yeah.
And my goal since I started this whole thing was to play a gig called Ross Fest. And
which you're playing this year, right?
I'm playing this year. That's a big deal for us.
Dude, that is awesome. And by the way, you'll be playing alongside one of my friends. They're Lines in the Sky.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're a local Nashville prog band, and they were actually on the podcast. They're super, super cool guys. Definitely say hi. If I'm not there, definitely say hi.
Well, why wouldn't you be there?
I've had a lot of things going on right now, Bob. Trust me. I want to make plans to do it. Like, I'll talk to you more about it after the cast is like on an in-between break.
Okay.
There's lots of things going on right now.
Well, that's a good thing. You're busy.
Yes. Keeps
you out of trouble. Keeps you from drinking.
At least off the podcast. But tell us about the origins of Cell15. Where'd the name come from?
Well, in 1991, I got arrested and I got thrown in jail. Guess what my cell number was?
10.
It was Cell15, and that's exactly where it came from.
Rock and roll, man. Rock and roll. So it's kind of like an inspiration for like a story to be told for you.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened. I had all this music in my head, and I had some downtime in the studio, so I just thought I'd try it, and all these songs that I'd thought about for years and years and years, and started laying it down. You were here. You saw a lot of it.
I took part in some of it.
Yeah, you're actually on the record. Thank you. You did a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, you should. Yeah. And so, but it turned out to be a concept record. So it was just, why not? I was telling the story of being the crazy rock and roller, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I lived it.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to be alive through all of that stuff, but eventually I got in the wrong place, and the Attorney General's task force was out in the parking lot, and they got me.
That's fun.
Oh, no, it was not fun. Not fun at all. because they weren't very nice about it. You know, I was just sitting there doing a line of coke and listening to some music with my friend, and all of a sudden, don't move. And I didn't. Anybody had a 45 to my head and literally yanked me out of the truck and threw me up on the hood of the truck and pretty much roughed me up.
It was the 80s, right?
It was the 80s. No, it was actually 91 when that
happened. Okay. So there's still probably like the height of the drug war going on and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. There's, you know, the cocaine thing was, you know, they're trying to hit that. I mean, it was a problem in the little town that they had, and they were trying. There was a stakeout. They knew about the other guy, who I knew who he was. They were after him, and they found me, and they thought I was Mr. Big. They were so angry that I was not Mr. Big because now I blew their cover.
And then they had to make an example of you, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. And well, I actually made the front page news in the local newspaper. You know what my headline was?
Oh, what was your headline?
Curtain drops on local musician.
Oh, zing.
So the whole thing, they made an example of me, and so, which is, you know, it's good it happened though.
Heartbreak. Oh, sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulties.
The internet.
Yes, the internet being stupid.
Yep.
But
what it was.
You were just talking about how you weren't sure if you'd be alive today if you hadn't gotten caught.
Yeah, I actually have to. That whole experience, had I not got busted, and because I was pretty nuts, drinking, drugging, all that stuff. And if I would have kept doing that, I'd probably be dead. So it was a good thing that it all happened in retrospect. Wasn't happy at the time,
of course,
but in retrospect, a lot of good things. You know, I actually wrote a letter to the judge and thanked him.
Really?
For locking me up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because if I didn't get locked up, I probably would have said, you know, if they slapped me on the wrist, I would have just gone my way and kept doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
But there's comes a certain point where I had to make a decision, you know, it's just, you know, as we say, your life is unmanageable. I was there. So it was a real awakening for me. And it's looking back now, you know, I haven't had a drink or drug in going on 27 years.
Here's a rock on to you, my friend.
Yeah. So it's something I would have never believed possible because I loved alcohol. I loved it.
Well, you do drink a lot of coffee. I will say that.
Well, I'm still an addictive personality, so I still like the caffeine, the nicotine. Yeah, I still have that, but these are legal.
So yeah, I learned from the best as far as that goes, as far as smoking.
Well, yeah, that's one vice that, you know, sorry, you know, I quit everything else. I quit smoking. I might as well just put a robe on and become a monk.
Yeah. That could be a really cool selling point for your record.
Yeah, yeah.
Hermit monk.
Yeah.
Hermit monk makes freaking prog masterpiece.
Put my hood up and see what that looks like. Let's see. Monk Bob. No, it's not me. It's not me at all.
It's totally metal. It's totally prog. I mean, even with all the you know, going to jail and coming out of it, I mean, not only did you come out with a better life, you came out with a whole album's worth of material.
Yeah, it's as they say in the business, write what you know.
Yeah.
And I knew this. So took a while, and then, you know, just putting it all together in the concept. And like I said, you were here for it. Just like, what song is next and how do you track this, you know, from beginning to end? So a lot of thought goes into making a concept record, and it's got to flow correctly. And you got to think about what key and just how it begins and what's the flow through the entire album. It takes a lot of thinking.
Yeah. I'm going through that challenge right now of like, do I want to try and make it somewhat concept-y and try and flow it? But like, that could take a lot of work.
Yeah, you have to make that decision early on, because it's like my new record, River Utopia, is not a concept record. And I thought maybe it would be, but it's just, I'm not going to be bound to all my stuff as concept records. So this new one's a little free, a lot freer.
Awesome. I mean, you sent me a couple of the scratch stuff thus far. Mm-hmm. It sounds great, man. Like, I'm really excited for it.
It's been an experience. It took too long. I wished I'd, done this last year, but on the first album, I played almost everything with the exception of guitars, as you well know.
Yeah.
And because I don't do that well. And this one, I didn't want to just do that whole thing of tracking the drums all by myself again. I just didn't want to do it. So I got Bill Brasso. He's on drums. He came in in 3 days, he was done.
Damn.
It would have taken me 3 months to do that. So
you're quite picky with what you want and how you want it played.
Well, that, and he brought an element that, there's no drummer plays anything exactly the same. And no guitar players, no musician plays anything exactly the same. So it was nice to have input from somebody else, especially in the rhythm section, because I am a drummer. But he brought some elements too that I wouldn't have thought of. And I threw some things in his head that he definitely wouldn't have thought of. He was more of a tapper, kind of a jazzy type drummer. No, hit that snare. Hit it like you mean it. Open up that hi-hat, because it was all just closed hi-hat. No, open it up. And it was really foreign for him. But, yeah, he wasn't used to that. He was just kind of used to being in the background, and he was like, no, you're up front now, buddy.
Yeah,
that snare will be heard. And how he cracks that snare, it sounds pretty good. It had a nice ring to it and a tone to it that just couldn't have planned that. It just happened. So it's been fun.
Still rocking that DW kit?
No, he actually brought his kit. I have my kit, yeah, but he brought in his own kit. And what was it, Tama set? But he had he had all his toms tuned real high. I'm just like, no. This is, like I say, he's like a jazz type drummer. No. We're gonna cover high and really low between these 4 toms. And that was foreign to him. And he didn't really want to do it because drummers are so picky. They want the spring back from the tension of the tom, and all that stick crap. And just, no, don't care. Gonna tune it down. So out of that, I got the bombastic toms that I wanted out of it. So, but it was good. It's fun to work with other musicians, and that I didn't have on the first one, except for you and Craig. Just being in there driving each other nuts.
Oh my God, fucking Craig.
Yeah,
Craig. I was wondering.
Hi, Craig, if you're watching.
I was wondering if you were gonna bring Craig up.
Well, I love him and I hate him. How do you do that? It's just like you love him because of talent.
If you motherfuckers think I'm a music snob and I'm bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've got the guy who invented the rule.
Oh my God. He is.
But you got to give it to him. He came up with some stuff I would have never thought of.
Some of the shit he wrote was awesome.
Just really weird, like the chicken thing. Buck, 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 buck.
And
and I was like, I'm not putting that on my record, and eventually put it on my record. There it is. It's like
a freaking what was it? Long Way Down, the the machine.
Yeah, that's the cock of the gun.
Yeah.
Okay, I would have never done it. Well, I wouldn't have thought of that on a guitar.
I don't know where the fuck he came up with that.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got a weird brain.
He says he's still sober, so.
Well, sometimes some people need to drink. I shouldn't say that at all. That's a terrible thing to say.
I know.
As long as I don't drink, I don't want to drink.
We're just joshing you, Craig. We're just joshing you.
I love you, buddy. Hate you too. I love you.
Fucking A. I think he was the one that said, I've forgotten more about studio production than you'll probably ever learn. And like at first I didn't believe him. Now I think I do.
Yeah. Well, there's one that just you overthink it. You got to be able to, just let things happen. And if you overthink it, you'll never release anything. If you think the mix is not there yet, you'll never release it, and you'll be in this circle of hell. And you got to just get to the point that it's done, so you can move on, because you got to clear your head. But I think his head is just you can't clear it because it's still full of stuff that'll never end.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. For me, I've known, especially as far as doing YouTube and the aggressive schedule that is of trying to do it regularly, it has to be at some point good enough.
Yes.
You know, and I mean, like, obviously you want to do the best you can, but you got to release the damn thing, you know?
You have to. Yeah, you'll never get anything done. So you have to just realize that you can only do what you can do today, finish it up and move on.
Yeah. Precisely.
Because they're going to slam you anyway.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you probably didn't watch the video I did on Greta Van Fleet?
No.
Okay, well, yeah, they're slamming the piss out of me.
Why? What did you do, snob?
In the first 20 seconds, I called them lesbians and gay as a joke.
Oh, no, that's I'm fighting this politically incorrect crap. Just say what's on your mind.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a joke. I didn't mean it. I was just poking fun, you know. It was just a joke. But, you know, because of that, everything else I said in the entire review was completely incorrect, and I had no idea what I was talking about. So,
well, are they lesbian?
They are men. They are young men.
Not women. Oh, okay.
That's part of why it was a funny joke.
Who are these people? Who are we talking about?
Greta Van Fleet is this relatively new, I guess you could say, indie rock band, but they basically sound exactly like Led Zeppelin, and that's not an over exaggeration. They sound exactly like Zeppelin, just like dropped new records and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And why did you call them lesbians and gay?
To make fun of them, to poke jokes.
Okay, well that's okay.
That's what I do. Yeah, just fucking around. They can do the same to me. It's funny.
I'm not offended.
I figured you wouldn't be.
Oh.
Before this podcast is out, I want to get an audio clip of you yelling "whore."
Yeah, I still say that a lot.
That's the fucking best. And you just randomly yell it out partway through a session, just like, what the fuck?
Well, you know, something's not working on the system or something's not right. Whore!
No one can say it the way that you say it. It's just so perfect.
Because I mean it. It comes from the diaphragm. It comes because I got to believe in what you say.
Comes from the heart. Oh, gosh. I think this is probably a good place to take a quick break here. Guys, we'll be right back with Bob. Okay. Stick around. I've never found that a box on the floor has ever given me anything that's like, I don't know. I always wind up not hearing somebody.
Well, we had that problem last night. I actually played in Cape May, New Jersey last night, and the sound guy was stoned.
Nice.
He didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
It was just feedback the entire night. And it's just like, and then when I got there, it's just, I don't know what it is. You know, these are really nice QSC floor monitors with the power amps already built in.
Mm-hmm.
Just turn them on flat. They sound great. And he's got this EQ all over. Just like, no, just flatten it out.
On a fucking monitor?
Yeah. It was just nuts. And it was feedback all night. And he had taken so much stuff out that it was just thin. It's like, no. Let's see the EQ. It was just this
kill me
roller coaster. So I just like, no, just flatten it out. Okay. Now go to the keyboard send, flatten it out. Okay. Go to my vocal, flatten it out. Sounds good. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Sounds fucking fabulous.
You didn't have to do anything, did you?
Oh, hey guys, welcome back to the Snobcast again, here with Bob.
Hi everyone.
I think we were mentioning before that you were the owner of After 7 Studios.
I am.
Absolutely beautiful backdrop behind you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got the system up and running. Forgot all about. I'm mixing today, so today we're playing with building a room and working in 3-dimensional sound.
You're talking about in box? Or you're talking about in reality?
In box.
Okay.
I've been listening to a lot of the mixes on prog rock stuff, and it just seems like it's this really reverby thing. It's just, and I never was really big on the reverb stuff, but
Hmm.
I don't have the nice room like a really good quality studio would have. So today we're just going in and using one of the plugins I have, one of the Waves plugins to build a nice sounding room, and I'm tuning the room today. So I'm
Do
going
you,
for that three-dimensional stuff.
if you don't mind me asking, which plugin? Because I actually use Waves myself.
Let's look. Let's see. The one that I'm using here.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm gonna entertain you over here.
This is called Reverb One.
Reverb One?
Yes.
I don't think I have that.
Uh, and the preset is just the main room. So what I have to do is go to everything. And so, you got there's the whole mix. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate.
Is that yours? Is that your record?
Yeah.
Sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's getting there.
It's just coming. It's just coming through your monitors through that Neumann. Damn.
Yeah, and so I'm just soloing up just the reverb. That's my room. So you have to run everything pre-fader so that you can mute everything and listen to just the room itself, and then you kind of tune the room and you put everything in there. And the more three-dimensional, the more in the background you want it to be, you just give it more reverb. So you're thinking three-dimensional now. And whatever's going to be like right in your face, snare drum, whatever, is going to have less of the room effect on it. So it just allows you to bring it forward and backwards.
I've always found that a lot of the stuff that I like seems like it has a lot of like a really large room on it, but somehow all the instruments feel very upfront and very intimate.
It's the mix between the two. Because like a good thing is a Metallica record. They record that stuff live in a really nice room.
Yeah.
But it's the combination of the close mic'd amps and the overall sound of the room. And it helps just kind of blend it all together.
Okay. That kind of makes sense.
And then you could really ruin a mix too. You could have too much room or it's too muddy. And so it takes time to just tune the room to where it sounds good and listen to what's going on and then just make that decision going forward and back. And then it's kind of neat because you can kind of bring people forward. Guitar solo, less verb. All right, he steps back, and it allows you to go three-dimensional instead of just left, right.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, sir.
Drives you nuts. It's hard. Mixing is hard.
Speaking of things that drive you nuts, what's the most the most annoying thing that a client would do if they were coming in to record?
Oh, their equipment. If they bring in guitars that are not intonated or drums with duct tape on them, and I've had that, just like drums sound great and they're just covered in duct tape because, they just brought it from the live gig from the night before. Take the time to put brand new drum heads, get some new strings, get your guitar serviced, intonated, and know what you're going to do before you get here. Now, I don't mind that so much because I charge by the hour.
Smart man.
But I'm not here to just watch somebody learn how to play their stuff either. It's just like, oh, geez.
That's a mistake I see a lot of guys in Nashville making is they do flat rate. And I'm like, you don't know what you're getting yourselves into unless they're like that picky. But I mean, I don't know. I think you're asking for problems at that point if you're going to do flat rate.
Yeah, it's a competitive market, so sometimes that's what you have to do.
It's true.
That's the only way you're going to get the gig. And I'm pretty lenient with time. I'm not just watching the clock and just I'll let some things slide here and there.
You let a number of things slide with me, and thank you.
Yeah, it was fun making your record. That was fun. Was cool
which I still haven't talked about in any amount of detail yet.
Really? Why not?
Because I'm saving it for I'm saving it for a special occasion. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Not everyone listens to the podcast, so I'll drop it here. I'll drop it here. I'm saving it for when I hit 100,000 subscribers, and then
Very cool.
I'm going to review my own record and rip it to shreds. Just shit all over it.
Well, okay. Well, how close are you to that? I thought you had millions already. Aren't I talking to millions of people right now?
At best, maybe like 5,000. At best.
Oh, well, this interview's over. My
Nah, fuck it out. But
I don't mean that, everyone. I love each and every one of you. I do.
I've been making a conscious effort to do that as well. But anyway. Nah, but what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so that's your most annoying thing. Okay. Second most annoying thing that a client would do.
A client?
Yeah.
Not much more than that. I mean, unless you're an asshole, just dealing with that. But it's more like interns.
You talking about me?
No, you were actually a good intern, but I had a guy, he called and he wanted to be an intern, and that's when I used to take interns, which I do not do anymore by now.
I was the last one. It's a privilege.
And so I said, yeah, come on in. And so I'm recording an acoustic guitar in the main room, and he's out there pounding on the door, pounding on the exterior door. It's just like, and finally I can hear it because, I have a soundproof building, but if you're pounding on the door, there's not much I can do with, a Neumann mic on an acoustic guitar. And so I finally stopped and went out to the door and just opened it. I'm the intern. It's just, no, you're not. Just go away. If you don't understand that, you can't pound on the door of a recording. Call me, whatever. You got my phone number. But just on the outside. Of course, I should have a red recording light on the outside. Maybe it's my fault, but
no, it's not. No, it's not. I'm gonna put that one on him.
Yeah, just that's not a good idea to go pounding on the studio door. Was not
Chris,
what if it was that one take that changes everything?
You just fucked it up.
Only so much I can do with EQ.
Right. Freaking Chris Bottolato was the intern for you while I was making my record. And that was, dude, he was super cool.
Yeah, he keeps in touch. Really good drummer. He's got his own thing, and he's doing a project now. So yeah, we stay in touch.
I should get back in touch with him, man.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Sure. Maybe get him on the podcast. That could be fun.
There you go. He's a talker.
He kept it pretty chill while I was in studio, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, that's it's another thing. Well, yeah, okay. You said, now I just thought of something. When clients bring their friends, and their posse and all that sort of stuff, and then they're all sitting on my nice, comfortable couches, just conversing, talking away, just like, no, shut up.
We're here to make music.
We're here to make music. We're recording. This is critical listening, and you're over there talking about, your dog. And it's just like, no, shut up.
Yeah. Shut your damn pie hole.
Yeah.
But you were talking about clients who might just be assholes. Who is that? I don't remember his name, thankfully.
Oh, I'm not even going to say his name.
You know who I'm talking about?
I got a couple of them.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. That one guy who did the spoken word thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know. It's got the name of a guy from the band Kiss.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it was that guy.
Is the name coming back to you now? Which I'm not going to say his name.
I'm not saying it either. Let's put it this way: it's not Ace Frehley. But yeah,
that was just a weird. I had to take him to court. I won, and he still didn't pay me. So he never. It's still here. Pay me, and you can have your files. But for some reason, he just thinks, I keep records. I got invoices and all that sort of stuff. And here's what you paid me. And you didn't pay for this. And took him to court. and won that, and he still didn't pay for it, so he just disappeared.
Thankfully.
But he is why we have a 357 in the studio today.
Freaking right. Right.
Yes,
my man. Oh, what do we got? What do we got going on here?
Get that right.
Oh, hold up, little up. Yeah, there we go. Fuck yes. I'm gonna get a little soundbite here of America. Fuck yeah. America. Fuck yeah.
All right. So yeah.
One thing we're not going to touch on today is politics. Just
no,
so you know.
It's not a good idea, especially as crazy as it is right now. And I have my opinions.
Yes, you do.
And I like the original Constitution. Let's just put it at that.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have changed that. And they've been trying to change it for a long time.
Well, let's put it this way.
We're going political. Here we go.
Let's put it this way. I'm sure that you are totally fine with black people and women having equal rights.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify that.
That is a God-given right, though. That is a God-given right. That is not a right that the government gave you.
Yes, we were born as an inherent human right.
That is correct. And that study of Locke and all the people before this country even started was discussed. So that's where they got all that information.
Not to go any deeper. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we're going deeper. I can feel it. We're going.
We're not going to. I just wanted to make sure that when you said the original Constitution, that can be a red flag for people who don't necessarily understand, because they see it as like, oh, you want to oppress African Americans and women because that's what they think the original Constitution did.
Well, and if you study it, that's not why they did what they did. Yeah, well, they're again, but you got to study it. Got to look at history and
keep in mind that there's a large portion of our listeners right now that are like, what a bunch of American pricks. Like,
yeah, I'm sure. But if you really study history and really look at the truth, you know, it's profound. But it's been so distorted and changed, and when I hear it, and you know me, I'm outspoken about it. Just no, study your history. I've actually read the Federalist Papers. You know, it's hard read, but I've actually studied it.
Man, I don't want to dive too deep into this right now.
Probably not a good idea.
Because I have so many things I want to say.
Okay, then let's move on.
Okay. You'll shelf this. But either way, yeah, interning with you is fucking awesome, dude. Between just recording my record with you, I learned a lot. Mm-hmm. But then on top of all that, interning with you, I learned a lot again. And I feel like there's so much more. That's the thing. By the time I was done interning, I had learned a lot, but more of what I learned is what I don't know, what I really don't know. And you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
That's very critical as far as knowing what you're capable of, how you can sell yourself, and also what you need to learn, what you need to.
Well, you have to remain teachable. Even to this day, I do. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't know, and but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to listen, and I'm not going to say that I know everything. I just don't. Pretty close.
I mean, you could say that. You could say that.
Well, you know, it comes with age, you know, just living as long as I've lived. You learn a lot. You know, I learned a lot of stuff just going on the road in a rock and roll band. You know, just traveling the country. That's an education that they don't teach in college. You know, it's just living on a daily basis with a bunch of guys around the country playing music. That is an education in itself.
I do remember you telling me that the best practice for a band was to go on tour. You told me about your Hybrid Ice experience.
It was really, really a great experience. We'd been together for 2 years, still kind of just learning stuff and not playing much. And we got hooked up with an agency out of Atlanta, Georgia. And they kind of put us through a trial to see if we could do it. So they booked 59 gigs out of 60 days. And they were all one-nighters from here to Florida and back. And we did that. And that was back in the day when you play 4 or 5 sets a night. And when we came back to town, you know, we'd been gone for 2 months, but when we came back to town, everybody's like, what happened? And that's just playing every night to the point where you're not even thinking about it anymore. You're just living it and breathing it. And boy, did we get good.
That's the thing, man. I've never had that experience, and I wish I did. I really wish I did. To be able to just know it that well. That's when you can start getting all those antics and shit out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and you find out what works and what doesn't work, and you find about your bandmates. You know, just living together, you find everyone's bad habits, what's a good thing, what to talk about, what not to talk about. And we bonded really, really well. The 5 of us, we just got to know, and our road crew, they were fun too. So the whole thing was a party, of course. But we all got along, and even to this day, we still keep in touch. I mean, I still play with Hybrid Ice to this day, and the only one who's not with us is the bass player, and that's just because he's got tinnitus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ringing of the ears, and he can't play. But the 5 of us are just as tight as ever.
Freaking A, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's awesome.
Well, and I got lucky with that because so many bands don't get that opportunity. You know, the short-lived, do 3-4 years, and they get in arguments and fights, and they break up.
Yeah.
But my God, Hybrid Ice started in 1969.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they started in high school. I didn't join until 1978. But
I thought you joined when you were 18. That might have been a different band.
No, I was 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me a story about it because you were a drummer originally.
Yes. I always loved keyboards, but I lied. I got the audition because when I played drums, we played like King Crimson and stuff. And so I had a little keyboard next to me so I could play a little bit. And the sound guy for Hybrid Ice, remember seeing that, thinking I knew how to play keyboards. And I didn't. So I heard about, unfortunately, their keyboard player was killed in an accident, in a car accident. And that was like Thanksgiving night. It was awful. And so they said, well, Keith Hummel, he said, well, I know this guy up in north of here who, knows how to play keyboards. And so he called me and said, Hybrid Ice is looking for a keyboard player. And I said, okay, I'll do it. They didn't know how to play keyboards at all, but my mother did. So we sat down and I had to learn 3 songs. I had to learn a song by Led Zeppelin, which I don't remember what it was. And I had to learn a song by a band called Head East, Never Been Any Reason. And I had to learn Bohemian Rhapsody.
Wow. All right.
That was the tough one.
Yeah.
So Mom, and this is how long ago this was. Today you can get a computer out and you can go back and forth and just loop it and be able to just learn what you're doing. I had to work off of an 8-track tape player.
Oh, man.
There's no rewind button. So you got to wait for it to come around. So we've sat and figured it out. And then I learned the song in the key of B, which is cool because all the black notes, dum, 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 black note. Yeah, it's a sharp, but the song's actually in B flat. Because my tape player wasn't playing the right speed.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So I learned it in B flat. So I get there and I'm playing the intro ring, and they finally realized it's in the wrong key. So I kind of got lucky because they could kind of tell I couldn't play that well. But they saw something in me and they hired me. And then I went to work. I played keyboards 8 hours a day, every day. I wanted it so bad.
And we
were playing Queen and Kansas, Styx, Yes, Steely Dan, all kinds of really, really hard songs. And so it luckily the guitar player / singer, Chris, he had a little theory that he knew about, and I just sat in his living room day after day after day and just learned how to play. It was a painful experience. for my fingers and probably to listen to. But, eventually they stuck with me and we did it. And today I can actually say I'm a keyboard player, but everything I know is wrong.
What do you mean?
My fingering is incorrect. I didn't learn technically how to play correctly. So
we could have easily made a joke here. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So I learned how to play what I do now, but I remember a teacher saying, "Where did you learn how to play?" And he said, "Well, I didn't." And they said, "Well, your fingering is all wrong." But it's too late at that point. It's just like, I'm not going to start all over.
I don't know. As far as the classical approach, I mean, technically, yeah. And I mean, I'll harp on that shit myself as far as guitar players go.
Yeah.
But my guitar teacher impressed this upon me while I was still at lessons with him, was he'll try his best to teach you the correct way to do it, but he's not going to tell you you have to do it this way. He wants to make sure you can play it. And he thinks that, I think this is brilliant, having people find out how to do it on their own gives them that unique voice and that unique journey, which helps you with bringing your unique expression to the world.
I would have to agree with that. I would definitely agree with that.
So for just a small, minute portion, fuck that guy.
Well, and that was kind of because I ran a piano store and I got to know teachers very, very well. And just like, okay, there's the hardliners that will learn to play this ruler almost like a nun, and just, and then you can't, well, the kid's not going to stay with it. You're not having any fun.
Yep.
And you've got the teachers that are a little more open-minded, like you're talking about. They still want you to learn the classical music because that's important. There's a lot of finger technique to learn, but at the same time, let them pick a song, that they like.
Totally. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah, let them have that experience. So it's two ways of teaching, and I've seen both ways. But I think the people that seem to stick with it are the people that enjoy it. What a concept.
100% correct. Yeah, what a fucking crazy thing.
And then luckily I have a good ear, so I can play by ear, which I kind of read music, but not that much. But playing by ear has really been good. And it floors me when I see a piano player sit down and you take the music away from them.
And he can't do
anything. It's like, I can't get my head around
how. I don't get. I know a guy. His name's Jeremy Webster. He's a good friend of mine. He lives in North Carolina now, but I met him here in Nashville. He is like, you sit down a piece of Bach in front of him, it's like instantly he can play it, no errors. Like he can sight read it. You take it away from him, he can't, like, he says he can't jam. And this is him saying it.
Yeah.
How? How is that a thing? I don't know. Like maybe it's like, okay, here's a word for it. Guitar hero syndrome. Hero syndrome. Are you familiar? You're familiar with the game?
Yeah.
So like it has the track coming down, and like your brain is so connected to your eyes versus what's going on with your hands. You can do it, but if you had to do it from rote or from memory or quote unquote make something up, you couldn't, because it just hasn't been programmed there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind of the same thing. I'm not sure.
It's very, very similar. It's just, I guess you hit the word creativity, because, if a person is just reading papers, it's just like typing on a computer, it's just, you're just doing it by memory. But now take that away and just listen. Play a C major seventh and learn some theory about, study why a hit song is a hit song. I've read books like that. I did that while I was in prison. It was a good book to read, because they wouldn't let me have a guitar or a piano in my cell. Like,
obviously not a piano.
They wouldn't let me do that. So I read some books and just studying what makes a hit song a hit song. And there's a lot of the chord arrangements. And, one of the best people to study ever to this day is the Beatles.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the music that they wrote is just incredible.
We're going to have to take a very quick break here, but I would like to come back to this. Okay. Guys, we'll be right back. Please stick around.
Cool.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around during the break. Again, here with Bob of Cell15 and After 7 Studios. So, Bob,
Yes.
honestly, I don't even know where to go from here. We've been through a lot of things, but
Well, we could talk about the new record and how you can buy it.
oh, well, can we? Can we talk?
We can
Please,
talk about that.
let's go on.
Well, especially I've learned a lot from you just watching your videos and the marketing things that you're doing
Oh
and just
God,
using social media, which I hate, but I have to do it.
yes.
Some people complain about it. And I think Eddie Van Halen said, my golly, if we had this when we were getting started, it would be great. Just because they were going the old days of hitting the street and putting stickers everywhere just to get the word out. And now you've got the internet. The only thing about that is now you're competing with literally millions of different musicians.
You've lowered the barrier to entry.
Yeah, so you have to study how to do that. And I've learned, the website is www.cell15.com. And I invite each and every one of you to go to our website.
Just in case we missed that, I'm not sure if I heard you correctly. Can you spell that out one more time?
That would be www.cell15, CELL15.com.
Okay.
Okay. And
Yes.
It's not a great website, but it's introduces and lets you kind of know what we're about. The original album, Chapter 1 is there, and we sell it exclusively instead of going through the distribution centers like CD Baby and all that stuff. I had a problem with CD Baby is it used to be when they got started, you could send them 5 CDs and they would keep it in stock. And as it would sell, then they would notify you and you'd send 5 more. But if you don't get a lot of hits, then they want one at a time.
Really?
Well, that doesn't work because when you think about what they take out, their 10%, you got shipping and all that sort of stuff. You really slam into your profit margin.
Very quickly.
Yeah. And what they do is if you send them 5 CDs and in 6 months, it's bad if you don't sell your 5 CDs in 6 months, they'll literally throw them away.
Oh.
Or send you a bill to say ship them back. I don't like that.
Considering their volume, I can see where they're coming from in that perspective. Well,
I don't buy it. Buy a bigger building. You want to be in the business, be a record store, then
just saying, considering the barrier to entry has been lowered so much, I can see where they're coming from. And actually, the thing that I saw that I was kind of like, I don't know if I want a physical copy on this yet, was they actually offered a package of like, hey, like for this much money, we'll print this many CDs for you, and they'll just do it. They never asked for a master copy from me, thankfully, because mine's all digital. I just sent them the digital stuff.
they'll make a glass master.
A what?
Glass master. There's a difference. There's like a burned CD, and then there's a glass master. It's like I know someone who owns a 2004 Nissan Maxima. That CD player is a Bose system, and it will not play a burned CD. It has to be a original. There's a lot of cars like that, and it'll play a glass mastered CD, but it won't play any burned CD.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
So I work through disc makers, and they have a minimum of 300 to get a glass master. But if you're going to put anything out there, you need to put it out as a glass master.
Okay, I don't know if CD Baby did that or not.
No, they don't. Now if they're going to say, well, we'll print 50 of them for you. Well, they're just going to burn them.
I think they did I think their starting package was 50.
Yeah. So that's just bad advice. You don't do that.
Freaking A.
How you learn? Still learning, aren't you, Mikey?
I'm learning all the freaking time, dude. Oh my goodness. And again, going back to all the things that I don't know. Mm-hmm. And then you have these people being like, you're talking shit on this band. What have you done with your life? I mean, I don't know. I'm just talking about, I'm just saying words. If you don't like them, it's fine. It's totally
Yeah, you could always just go to a different channel. It's just like anything else.
You can stop watching at any point.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. So I've been learning a lot with the social, and one site I have to recommend for bands, and they've really got their act together, is Bandzoogle. Are you familiar with that?
Never even heard of that
If
one.
you're a band without a website, you have to have a website. You can't depend on Facebook and all that stuff to be your website. Facebook is getting more and more challenging to try to get for us musicians. It's
terrible. It's
getting worse and worse.
Absolutely horrible.
And so it's best to have your own website. And then what I like about Bandzoogle, they have these templates designed just for bands. And they look really cool, and they work on all the cell phones and the iPads, and just everything works. And you can set up your own e-commerce. All you have to have is a PayPal account. Now I sell everything exclusively here, and I ship it myself.
Freaking name.
Yeah. So it's not like I sell a ton of records. I hope that's a problem where I have to hire people to ship.
Right.
Yeah. But at the same time, if you get your music on Spotify, if you get your music on iTunes and all that, Spotify is one where you've got people, they pay to have a Spotify account, and then you can listen to anything and everything. But what you don't get as a musician is contact information. You don't get their emails, or you don't have any way to keep in touch with your fan base. So it's great for Spotify, and you're making 0.0000064 cents for every spin of your record they get, but they're laughing all the way to the bank. They're making a ton of money off of my sweat. So if I'm going to do that, I would rather have control of my own marketing, and my whole thing is to steer everyone to www.cell15.com, and we ask that people sign up just with an email. All I want is just an email, and anything that I'm doing in the future, we're going to be doing videos, behind the scenes information. I've got to get more involved with video, like what you're doing. And that's important to develop a relationship with my fans. And you can do that now. You can do that now.
That's a thing too. If you want to dive into that, that's a subject matter that I'm very passionate about. Mm-hmm. To really, first of all, you need to know your audience, and I don't know who's listening to your record, honestly, as far as like a demographic goes. You know what I mean?
It's worldwide. The prog music scene is a small niche, however you say that.
Well, yeah, one of those things.
But there's some cool websites, houseofprog.com, progrock.com, Morrow. If you can get some airplay on those, people that really like prog rock don't listen to regular radio because we can't stand half of the stuff they're playing. So they tune in to that, and then it's just they start spreading the word, and then you get the reviews in Progressive Rock Magazine, get the word out there. And once again, all I want them to do is go to www.cell15.com. So easy to do, and
so easy to do. You should do it right now.
Yeah, you should do it right now.
Pause this video. Come back to
some people, you may hate it. You may not be a prog rocker, and that's quite all right, because prog rock is not for everybody.
That is the truth.
But it's just some of the best music I've heard and since being a kid. Bands like Yes and Genesis. Pink Floyd is considered prog rock.
Porcupine Tree,
Porcupine Tree, yeah, some great new bands out there. Neil Morse. It's just, it doesn't stop. And to be involved with that little group of people is better than me trying to compete with Metallica. How can I compete? They're just huge, and there's so many other bands along that vein that how am I even going to compete with that?
They have the ultimate name recognition that goes beyond social media and beyond algorithms. That's like in everyone's minds, Yeah,
and they deserve everything they get, though. They worked hard. They really worked hard. They hit the road.
They always have worked hard. They've never been slouches ever.
Well, it's like the other band, Halestorm, that came through the studio here. They're out on the road all the time. And they're still not a household name yet, but eventually, God, Lizzie sings so great.
Dude, all right.
God.
You showed me some of the cuts from the Hailstorm sessions, and
Yeah.
Lizzie's vocals give me a boner.
Oh
They're
yeah.
so
Should have
good.
been here. She was standing right there in that
Oh,
control booth. It
don't,
was just like
don't, no.
me, me and the producer Bobby Huff. Did you ever hook up with Bobby Huff down there?
I hit him up on a phone call.
Okay.
Haven't set up the time to get together with him. I really should
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, he's a good guy, but we both sat here and it's just like she's just a one take wonder. You do another take and it's just like, why do another one?
Yeah.
Because she's that good.
I would be interested to see how she feels about that. Like honestly, if she's really that good and she knows herself that well, how she would feel about like
she's pretty humble.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think she's got an attitude when it comes to that. So she didn't, say, oh, I want to do another. I want to do another one. It's just like every time she sang, she's just a professional singer. She's just good.
Oh, can we talk about the Roots of Halestorm really quickly? Because I find this extremely intriguing.
What would that be?
So it started out as a family band, if I'm correct.
Yeah, they're from Dover, Pennsylvania. And
which is very close to where you are and where I was originally from.
Yeah, it's real close to York. And they were just kids. I mean, 14, 15-year-old RJ, or her brother, on drums, and Lizzie. But she didn't sing like Lizzie sings today.
Of course.
She sang real soft-spoken. And then mom and dad was on stage. So it was a real weird setup. And they would play anywhere and everywhere. And you got to give it to them. They had the spinning drum set and they were doing all kinds of stuff, but it was very JV. It was, oh, gosh, I hope if I see you, Lizzie, or you watch this, it was almost laughable. And so that was kind of,
I want videos so bad.
Yeah. And it was like, and so then all of a sudden she connected with this lead singer of a band, Kix, and Steve Whiteman. Good friends of mine. Love Steve. And I took vocal lessons with him too. He got a hold of Lizzie and made something happen. He taught her how to sing. And now she's that rock chick vocalist that she didn't have before. And it surprised everyone. Like, whoa, where did this come from? And then she went out on the road and just the whole band was totally different. And they climbed and they got huge. And
mom and dad went from playing guitars to managing the band.
Yeah. Dad drives the truck. He drives the bus.
So cool. That's so cool, man.
And they're a family fair to this day. They're on the road still as a family.
That's like, I don't know. To me, that's like a beautiful, like happily ever after story.
Yeah, it's the new Partridge Family.
Yeah, the metal Partridge Family with black leather.
The metal Partridge Family, and they couldn't have been any nicer when they were here. Just really down to earth, good, humble people. They love what they do. The parents taught their kids, the old classics, and so what a family. Every kid should have a family like that. That'd be great.
That would be dope as hell.
Yeah. But they tear it up, and RJ's tearing it up on drums. They've just gotten better and better and better.
How much can I say about the sessions there?
Whatever you want. I don't care.
Okay, fair enough. So
what have I broke?
Oh, nothing. So Bobby Huff was there being the producer.
Yes.
And eventually, I think, as far as I know, they decided to go a different direction and went with a different producer in a different studio. Is that correct for that EP?
No, they used the files that they recorded here. Bobby took the files back to his studio and mixed it wherever he mixed it. They didn't, I don't know if it was the band or if it was Atlantic Records, didn't like the mix. And so they took the files to another studio and mixed it. So the files that were used were recorded here, but they mixed it somewhere else.
Okay. No, I got that part. But specifically, like, I listened to the Bad Romance one numerous times, as you're aware.
Yes.
There was some really cool shit on there that they didn't use at all, and I don't know why. Like, especially like they did this thing that you were telling me about. Bobby had him take the skin off of the front of the kick drum and start banging on it.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, it was a Rob Zombie type of thing. That's where I'd heard it before.
Yeah.
It sounded so fucking cool. And then it went into this chorus that had like 4 guitar parts or some shit, and all of these vocals, like, I wanted it all, man. It was epic as hell.
Yeah.
And they just chopped it down to this really mundane, like, cookie cutter.
Well, that's
like, son of a bitch.
It goes back to the mixes. I heard both mixes, and I liked Bobby's mixes. One thing that he did, which I think they put maybe a little too much distortion on Lizzie's vocal. There was some
distortion on her vocal?
Yeah, they put something on her vocal. It was like a little overdrive.
Why would you do that?
Well, I think that was probably the issue. Because I remember hearing that thinking, ooh, I don't know if I would have put that much overdrive on her vocal. But I'm with you. The rest of the mixes and all that, where everything was there. We recorded so much stuff.
It was literally like, I mean, you didn't have to throw pretty much anything on that mix, you know. You maybe just drop a couple things into it. It was set to go, which is the ideal session that you want.
Yeah.
And okay, one quick thing about Craig Cady really quick. I remember he came in and I just fucked around really quick. I was like, Craig, I just did this thing. I bust all of the drums out to a bus and I put a compressor on them and I just compressed them. He's like, don't ever do that. But actually, it's funny because I come down here and that's like one of the biggest tips you get is just, just throw a compression on the whole bus of the drums. Yeah. It doesn't have to be super heavy, but it kind of just like brings them all together, kind of makes them in like this little stew.
Well, it's that big Led Zeppelin sound you get by throwing, the drums through a Uri 1176, and they have a thing called all buttons in mode, and you just slam it.
Yeah.
That's on this record.
My man.
Because I have a song that's very it's heavy, and all I can hear is bottom.
Okay, of course.
So I gotta have the bottom sound. So that's once again going back playing with room and reverbs. But I've got the crushed overhead mic. It's not the whole kit. It was the overhead mic. I had an extra room mic that I had up, and you just slam it. And gotta be careful because
you can get some awesome sounds when you crush your room sound.
Oh yeah, really, really cool.
And it's almost like I can totally see why Bonham would just stick with 4 mics, because you only need those overheads for like a specific sound, especially if you crush them that hard. You're not going to get individual drum mics anyway.
Did you ever tell your audience that story of the guy who put mics all over Bonham's drums?
No, but I would love for you to retell it right now.
Well, it's it was a studio down south, and the engineer was Led Zeppelin's coming in. I'm like, God, we got John Bonham coming here. So he goes in and there's Bonham's kit. It's just like, it's just the feeling had to just be wonderful. So he's going through and he's putting mics on the kick drum and he's putting stuff on the tom-toms and he's got everything just perfectly beautiful. John Bonham walks in and he says, what's with all these microphones? And he's like, well, we'll do that so that's how we do them all. He says, nope, I want 4 mics. 1 on the bass drum, 1 on the snare drum, 2 overhead. And but it's nice to have the mics on the tom-tom. If I want the tom-tom louder, I'll hit it harder.
Such a badass.
And that's what a great thing. But that was his thing. It's just going back to what we were talking earlier. You overthink a lot of things. You can come up with a great drum sound with a decent room and 4 microphones and a drummer who knows the difference of how to hit the drums.
It's true. It's true. I don't know if I would necessarily go that route for the stuff that I'm doing because I like a really pronounced tom sound. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I do try to compress the room, but I try to get some of that some of the bottom what's the sustain, is it not sustain, after sustain, release.
Yeah.
I like
Well,
to
you
get
can
some.
get that. What's kind of what I'm doing here with the reverbs, with the room sound. Something that it's really, really cool. If you got a kick drum, got really two things you got to look at. You got to look at the low end, and you got to say, where's the attack? Depending on the music, a lot of the newer stuff, especially if you got that real quick, you got to have a good 6K tap that gives it definition. But if you want that boominess, unless it's in the drum itself, but if you don't have it, you can get it with reverb.
Yeah. So I've been noticing.
And I kind of lucked out on that one. I was at a friend's house and he was setting up a studio and we put up this reverb. He had some digital drum, whatever it was. And I just boosted the low end and that reverb was just like, whoa.
It gives you a whoa. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm still getting the definition of the attack and all that from the real high. I don't do the 6, 8K clacky drums thing. I'm more down into 3 to 4K.
Yeah.
To give me that, just presence of what is the kick drum. So having those two frequencies.
What you've been saying, as far as that goes, if I ever boost in the high mids of the kick, I actually do it specifically for my type of music around where the guitars would be, because that way it kind of like marries the two together. You know what I mean? Like between 2 and 3 is typically where I do it. Maybe a little bit above 3 because it gets some of that like harshness of the higher end of the guitar. Either way, we're actually probably going to have to call it here just because my camera's about to die. So
I got to get back to mixing my record. I have given myself good thing for musicians to do is set deadlines. I've given myself a goal. I am staying in the studio until the album's done. I have an air mattress over here. I'm not leaving because I have till March.
Are you dead serious?
I'm serious. I am not leaving here until the album is done. And I've still got some vocals to do, some keyboards and mixing to do. So I got a lot of stuff to do, but it has to be done by March 31st because rehearsals start in April for my gig on May 5th. And I have to have product. So
I want to be there so fucking bad.
No, I smell bad.
I don't give a shit.
You don't have a shower here.
I don't give a shit, Bob. I want to be there.
I've learned how to bathe out of a tub. I got this big tub that I wash my hair. Look, I even washed my hair because I knew I was on video today. And I got a tub. It's like I'm living in the woods. I do have a bathroom, but I don't have a shower.
I mean, hey, dude, I admire the dedication so much right now. That's amazing.
I wished I hadn't done it that way. I like sleeping in a bed. Air mattresses suck. And one thing I did was I slept in the ISO booth the first night. Never do that.
Why?
Never sleep in an ISO booth because when you're laying there, you can hear yourself breathe. It's really weird. It's really freaky. You can hear the blood going through your veins. It creeped me out. So I had to get out of the ISO booth and I set it up right here in the control room. I let the fans blow. It's just like, it freaked me out. Try it sometime.
I will.
Well, don't try it. It'll freak you out. Well, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad you had. I know we could talk for hours because we always have.
Dude, honestly wish we could, but
we can do it again.
We'll have to schedule that another time.
We'll have to see what the feedback is. Maybe nobody will ever want to see us talk again.
I highly doubt that.
It's possible. It could happen. It could happen.
Either way, Bob, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike,
for coming on, my friend. You are. I'm gonna say this now, just so you can fucking get this portion done with it. But like, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without you. Honestly, I greatly appreciate that, my friend.
Thank you very much. That means a lot to me, Mike. I'm glad you're doing well.
Right. And I will do anything in my power to fucking send it back your way, man. Honestly.
Okay. Appreciate that. Very cool. Just send them to my website. Come check out Cell15. I'm doing it.
www.cell15. That's numeral15.com.
That is correct.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. See you in the next cast. Rock on.